Good morning, beautiful friends. Today we're going to engage in a yoga practice to get us centered and calmed and challenged. I invite you all to sit cross-legged on your mat to start. Hands can be rested at your knees or at heart center. And to take a deep breath in and deep breath out. 2 more of those. Deep breath in and open mouth to exhale. On this third one, make some noise for yourself or for those around you. Deep breath in and sigh. Sit for a moment in this shape and come to your breath. Acknowledge the inhales, the exhales. Ensure they are deep and complete. And as you ground yourself in this practice today, I invite you to set an intention for your practice. An intention can be just to let go, clear your mind. It can be a theme for your day or what you hope to achieve here today. If you do not have an intention in mind for yourself, I offer one of mine. Today I pulled a card. One of them is for the solar plexus chakra. And the statement is fearlessness. Turn your worrier into a warrior. So if that's somebody like you, let's turn that frown upside down. Let's change your anxiety levels, your racing thoughts, and let's just create some calm together. Come back to your breath, breathe in, and big exhale, breathe out. I invite you to open your eyes. Circle sweep your arms above your head. On inhale, on an exhale, we'll bring our hands back to heart center. 2 more of those. On an inhale, reach up, connect. On an exhale, bring back to heart center. On an inhale, reach up, connect. On an exhale, back to heart center. We're gonna inhale one more time. Arms reach tall. Reach, reach, reach. Continue your breath here. Make yourself tall. Make sure you're pulling your spine long. Your fingertips are reaching the sky. Your crown is pointed directly up. And try to reach just a little more. Keep those sit bones to the ground, but stretch the rest of your torso out. Breathe in. And on an exhale, we will twist to our left. Put your right hand along your knee and you're kickstanding your left hand and twisting on an exhale. On an inhale, we lengthen, and on an exhale, we twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist deeper. You're always wanting to twist through your torso, not through your neck, not through your hips. Your next inhale, reach up to the sky, and we will twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 2 more times on your own. Come to your breath. And reach your hands up to the sky. And exhale to heart center. I invite you to fold over your legs, and we're going to come into a tabletop position. I am turning my body. And in a tabletop position, you want to make sure your spine is flat, as if I could set a dinner table on your back. Tuck your tail in, pull that tummy in and up. Feel your core engage. And on an inhale, we're going to come into cow pose. Drop your belly, raise your gaze. And on your exhale, we tuck the tail, curve our spine, and drop our head for cat. On an inhale, cow. And on an exhale, cat. A couple more rounds of these. Go at your own pace. Move with your breath. Inhaling, gaze up. Exhaling, down. And you can have some fun with this. You need to make circles with your hips. You can come forward, dip down. And if you made circles one way, make sure to do it the other. One final round. Inhale and exhale. Now come back to a flat spine. We're going to tuck our back toes and bring our hips just to a hover. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. You should feel those abs engaged. We're getting warmed up for our practice. Into it. You might feel yourself shaking. And on an exhale, pull your hips to the sky for our first down dog. If this is your first down dog for the day, bend your knees, bring some movement to this pose. Or if you truly need stillness, feel free to just sit still. To check the proper alignment on your down dog, we're looking for a downward facing V, hips pointed to the sky, legs straight, back straight. We're looking for lengthening here. You can also check the position of your hands and feet by coming to plank and back to down dog. A couple more breaths here. Breathe in and breathe out. Exhale, go ahead and bring your knees to the mat, untuck those toes, and pull it back for child's pose. Child's pose is a pose of resting. You can always, at any point in your practice, choose to come to child's pose as a rest, as a break. Maybe you're not high on energy today. It's still valuable that you made it to your mat. Make sure those hips are pushed back towards your heels. Your arms are stretched forward, or you can also tuck behind you and grab onto your feet. On our next inhale, we're going to pull ourselves up into a low kneeling plank. So your back should be flat, your arms are strong, but your toes remain untucked. Breathe in. And on an exhale, we're going to lower to a half plank. Come to your belly. On an inhale, we do a low cobra. And on an exhale, back to child's pose. 2 more of those. On an inhale, we pull ourselves forward into a kneeling plank. Down into a low kneeling plank. To our belly. Up into low cobra. On an exhale, back to child's. 1 more. Move with your breath. We're going to come back to tabletop here. We're going to tuck our knees, pull our hips up for downward facing V, down dog. Again, pedal it out. On your next inhale, we're going to travel to the front of the mat. You can hop, skip, or jump, or just tippy toes up to the front. Your hips should be about width distance, your hands planted on the floor, or wherever they reach. You might not fold this far. That's okay. On your inhale, we'll halfway lift, flat back, crown facing forward. On an exhale, fold. On our inhale, circle sweep our arms up to the sky. And on an exhale, we bring them to heart center. On an inhale, we reach up and back, slight back bend, tuck of our hips. And on an exhale, swan dive down for forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. On our inhale, we travel to a plank pose. Knees up this time, or knees can go down if you're not feeling strong enough for full plank. And on an exhale, we go down to our half plank. On an inhale, cobra, full cobra, or up dog if you're ready. And on an exhale, down dog. We're gonna tiptoe back to the front of the mat. You can also skip or jump up. And on an exhale, we fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to tall mountain. And on an exhale, heart center. Inhale, reach, back bend. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. And on an exhale, we fold. Inhale, step back to your plank pose, knees down if you need it. And on an exhale, move forward, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. On an inhale, come back to the top of the mat. On an exhale, we fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle sweep your arms all the way to the top. On an exhale, we're back at heart center. That's our sun salutation A. We're going to move to a sun salutation B for a little bit of movement and heat here. You might break a sweat. Feel free to pause at any moment. You can come to child's pose, that pose of rest. You can come to standing Tadasana or mountain pose at the top of your mat and just create stillness. You can step any step. These are just recommendations. I am just a guide. You are your own teacher. On an inhale, raise your arms up to the sky, stretch out long. On an exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. On an inhale, halfway lift, and on an exhale, fold. On an inhale, we go to the back of the mat for a chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. On your inhale, you're going to lift your right leg. Reach it up to the sky. Circle around your ankle. Maybe circle that hip if you need to. Stretch your hip and open it up. Take a couple breaths here. Get that hip warmed up. On an inhale, straighten that leg out long. And on an exhale, we're going to bring it through very slowly and step our foot between our hands. We're in a low runner's lunge. On an inhale, we're going to raise our hands to the sky for a high crescent lunge. I'm just going to sit here for a minute. Feel how this feels in your body. You can bounce up and down. Play with your feet. If you feel unbalanced in this position, try to widen your stance a bit. Make sure you're on railroad tracks and not on a tightrope. One more inhale up. And on an exhale, we fold. Frame your foot, pull your foot back, chaturanga, flow it out. Inhale for up dog or cobra. Exhale for downward facing dog. Other side. Raise your left foot to the sky. Circle your ankle. You've got time to play here. Bend that knee, open up your hip, stack them. Sweep, circles with your hip. One direction, the other direction. And inhale, reach your legs straight and pull it through slowly. Place your foot to the mat in a low runner's lunge. On an exhale, we come up. Raise your arms to the sky for crescent. You might find this side is more or less balanced than the other, and that's okay. Our sides are different. Our sides are different every day, every moment. But focus on that balance. Pick a drishti, focal point, something still in front of you. One more inhale to reach up tall, maybe a slight back bend, and exhale, frame your foot. Inhale back to plank, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra, and exhale, down dog. On an inhale, we're gonna wind back, and you can choose to jump or simply step up to the top. Halfway lift on an inhale, exhale, forward fold. Circle sweep your arms up to the sky, and bring them to heart center. We're gonna do 2 more of those. Repeating both sides 2 more times. On an inhale and reach up tall. And on an exhale, fold. On an inhale, halfway lift. And on an exhale, fold. On an inhale, we step to the back of the mat for plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra up dog. And an exhale, down dog. We'll start with our left foot this time. Left foot reaches, and we're moving with breath. On your inhale, exhale, bring your foot to between your hands. And on an inhale, we rise up for high lunge. On an exhale, we fold, frame the foot. On an inhale, back to plank and chaturanga. Lower it out. We meet back in down dog. On an inhale, rise your right leg, and on an exhale, pull it through between your hands. On an inhale, we rise up to high crescent, and on an exhale, we fold. Inhale, exhale to chaturanga. We meet back in down dog again on the exhale. Breathe in, wind it back. And on an exhale, hop, skip, or jump to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. On an inhale, come back to high, tall mountain. And on an exhale, hands to heart center. 1 more round. On an inhale, raise your arms. On an exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. We'll start on the right foot this time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull it through. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, frame the foot. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg. Inhale, raise your foot. Exhale, pull it through. Inhale, rise to crescent. Exhale, frame your foot. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. All right, we're gonna stay in this down dog for a minute. Go ahead and pedal it out. Or find stillness. If your shoulders need a break, you can bring yourself down to dolphin. Sometimes that's a little easier on your shoulder. You just put your forearms against the mat. And your pressure using your elbows instead of your wrists. Your hips should still be pointed upward, your legs and spine long. Feel that breath. How's it changed since the beginning of our practice? Okay, we're going to come to our knees and take the child's pose. 3 breaths. The message I wanted to bring to you today is that no one knows your soul as well as you do. Give yourself permission to walk your own path and follow your own heart. Okay, we're going to come up from our child's pose by starting in a tabletop again, kind of meeting our wrists under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. Tuck your toes and back to down dog. On an inhale, we're going to reach our right leg to the sky and pull it through. This time we're coming into Warrior One. So for Warrior One, your back foot is going to be pointing at a 45-degree angle, kind of pointed towards the top of your mat, not straight. That leg should be strong and straight, and your front leg should be at a 90-degree angle, knee to ankle. On an inhale, we're going to lift our arms to the sky. Our hips should be pointed forward. Our arms can be lifted. You can always choose to take this any which way you want if you're having shoulder pain or weakness. The traditional Warrior One, we're looking forward. Now for some, this may also bother your back knee. Feel free to take a crescent instead. Crescent has been called by some to be the new Warrior One. Either way, hips shine forward. I'm going to take one more breath in this warrior pose. And on our exhale, we will turn to Warrior Two. So your arms will come parallel to the ground. Your feet now will be in ankle to arch alignment. So they do sort of align. And your hips should be pointed towards the side of your mat. Hold this strong warrior. Remember, you're fearless. On our next inhale, go ahead and flip that front palm to the sky. We're looking towards it. Pivot to the front, and on an exhale, reverse your warrior. Look like you're throwing a baseball backwards. On an inhale, back to Warrior Two, and on an exhale, we'll come back to frame our foot, pivot your back leg, and come back to down dog. Feel free to flow it out if you're feeling extra powerful. Otherwise, we'll meet in down dog. Now for our other side, reach your leg to the sky, your left leg this time, and bring it through for Warrior One. Again, you can take crescent if this doesn't feel comfortable on your knee. Your hips should be shining forward. On an exhale, Warrior Two. Your feet will change alignment ever so slightly. Heel to arch alignment. Hips will be pointed outward. Feel that opening in your front body. Look towards that front middle finger. On an inhale, our palm lifts, pivot forward. And on an exhale, we throw it back for reverse. On an inhale, we'll come back to Warrior Two. And on an exhale, cartwheel your arms, frame your foot, back to down dog. How are we feeling there? We'll take that series one more time and add a move. On an inhale, we'll rise our right leg up and pull it through for our Warrior One. Inhale, rise. And on an exhale, Warrior Two. On an inhale, pivot and throw it back. On an inhale, Warrior Two. Now we're going to come into side angle. So this could look like a couple different ways. You can lean your shoulder on your knee, arms straight up, gaze lifted. Make sure if you're using this modification, you're not dumping, you're still stretching everything long. Second level modification, hands the inside or outside of the foot. Again, keep everything lifted, don't dump into that shoulder. Some of you advanced yogis may also attempt to bind. For that, right hand goes under, left hand comes around and grabs it. On our next inhale, we rise to warrior two. And circle sweep those hands down, back to down dog. One more on the left. Raise your foot to the sky. Bring it through for warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Open up. Inhale, pivot forward. Exhale, reverse that warrior. Inhale, warrior two. And on an exhale, we'll go to our version of side angle, whatever that means for you. Got a couple breaths to play here. On an inhale, we bring it back up to warrior two. And on an exhale, we cartwheel our hands back to down dog. Inhale, point those toes, lift those heels. On an exhale, push them back. Get long. On the next inhale, we'll raise our right leg up straight to the sky. On an exhale, pull it through. You're going to come up to warrior one, but just for a minute. And then warrior two. Open up those hips. Now straighten those legs. Again, we're looking for front heel to back arch alignment. They should be in a straight line, like you're on a plane of glass leaning up against it. With straight legs, we're going to pivot forward, push that hip back, and reach to the ground. However far your arm can go. If it can travel to the ground, if it can travel to the hip, but make sure you're not dumping, you're not leaning. You want to keep stretching and lengthening. Stack the hips, stack your shoulders, triangle pose. On an inhale, lift it back up. And on an exhale, we're going to come into pyramid. So your back leg will come in about halfway. You're now on railroad tracks instead of a tightrope. We're going to lift with our arms to the sky. And on an exhale, we'll fold. Pause about halfway, straight spine, straight legs. On an exhale, fold over. Do your best to get that knee to your nose. Keep the legs strong. Keep them still. If you want to play with balance here, feel free to reverse prayer your hands, bind them behind your back, or even just lift them off the ground. 3 more breaths. Okay, bring your hands back to the ground. We'll step up to the top of our mat from here. Halfway lift on your inhale, exhale, fold. Rise up on your inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Shake it out if you need to. We're going to bring it back to our down dog, going through another vinyasa. Inhale, reach up, exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, step it back to plank, straight body. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog, and downward facing dog. On an inhale, we'll rise our left leg to the sky and pull it through for our warrior one. Inhale up, hips shining forward. Exhale, warrior two, hips open to the side. On an inhale, we'll straighten our legs. And again, we'll come into triangle pose. Pivot your hip back, reach forward as far as you can go. And then bring your hand to your shin, your foot, the floor, wherever it could reach. Look up towards that hand and focus on stacking those hips, stacking those joints. Feel that deep stretch in that front leg, your hamstring. If you get a little wobbly, don't worry. Put your hand down for support. On an inhale, we'll rise up. And on our exhale, we'll step it in. Going to our pyramid pose. So again, you can take this with a bind, meaning your hands are in the back, maybe tied together. Maybe you're in a prayer pose. You can also just rise your hands to the sky. On an inhale, we lift. And on an exhale, we fold. Pause halfway. And complete the fold. You can have a little rounding in the spine here when you get to your fullest expression. It's okay. You can keep your hands down if you need. That's also okay. On an inhale, we lift. Pause halfway. And rise up. Come to the top of our mat. We're going to focus on a couple balancing poses now. I'm going to try a tree pose. So from your standing position, your feet should be firmly planted. Make sure all four corners of those feet are ground. You can lift your toes and really feel the ball of your foot, your heel, firmly rooted. Put those toes down and grip to your mat. Start by putting all of your weight into your right foot. This might look like just pulling your leg up a little tippy toe, maybe starting to rise it up. But when you're ready, find your balance point and bring that hip forward. We're going to find tree by opening up that hip and placing the foot along your opposite leg. The foot can rest on your thigh, it can rest on your calf, it can even just act as a kickstand at the bottom of the mat for support. Wherever you place your foot, do not put it on your knee. That is dangerous for your joints. And find stillness. A little wobbly, that's okay. Focus on a point in front of you that is still. If you're ready, you can lift your arms up, grow your tree. Take 2 more breaths here. On an exhale, bring that knee in and put it down. Shake it, shake it. We've got another side. Lucky us. Left foot plant, right foot will now be light. Raise it up to start to find your balance and place that leg, that foot along your left leg. Focus here is on that hip, making sure it's open. And rise your tree limbs, grow it out. Maybe they flutter in the wind. As long as you can stay balanced. Whatever challenge meets your needs today. 2 more breaths here. Breathe in. Breathe out. On your next inhale, bring that knee to the front. Give it a tight squeeze and let it down. Shake it out. up. Again, we're focusing on balancing. We're gonna come into an airplane. So the way I like to do that is I like to get just a little bit of momentum, but it is controlled. So as I start to dip forward, I'm pulling my hands forward and swinging them back to be parallel with my spine and my lifted leg. This is airplane or warrior three. Hand placement of your choice. You can also choose prayer. You can also raise forward. One more breath here. On an exhale, our left hand plants will open up for a half moon. Balancing half moon. Your arms should be stacked. Your gaze can be down or up if you're comfortable. And foot straight out like you're kicking the back wall. One more breath here. And on an exhale, our feet meet, our hands are on the ground, we meet in a forward fold. Halfway lift, and fold on our exhale. On your inhale, rise to the sky, and on exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll do that same series on the other side. On an inhale, bring our knee up. And as we come into airplane or warrior three, we pivot. We get a little momentum with those arms, but slow and controlled. So it all just locks into place when it's straight and flat. Again, hand placement of your choice. Pick a fixed point to stare at. This can be a wobbly one. On our next exhale, our right hand will plant about a foot in front of our right foot, and we open up our hip, lift our left hand to the sky, straight up for our balancing half moon. Now you might have less balance on this side, or maybe you feel stronger and more confident on this side. That, again, is okay. If you come out of it, come back in. And on an exhale, we'll have our feet meet each other on the mat and our hands down at our mat. Fold. On an inhale, halfway lift. And on an exhale, fold. Now take one more pose standing, and then we're going to bring it down to our seats. We're going to come into gorilla pose now. So we're in our forward fold. We're going to take our hands with our top of our hand facing down on the mat and slide it under our feet for gorilla pose. On an inhale, we try to rise up. You'll feel a little tug in those wrists. And on an exhale, bend those knees and fold deeper. Rest here for a couple breaths. In and out of breath, straightening up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Wiggle those toes against your wrists. Give yourself a little massage. And we can take our hands out. And we're going to come to our booties on the mat. So however you want to get there. I'm just going to sit down. Actually, we're going to come to a yogi squat. So I'm going to have you stand back up. We're going to come down a little differently. Reach up to the sky. Your feet can be matched with distance. Raise your arms up. Bring them to heart center. And as we kneel, we come down. Now, your booty should be lifted. You might have a little space between you and the floor. And your elbows should be pushing on either side of your knee for your yogi squat. For those of you that enjoy arm balances, this is the perfect opportunity to play with crow. For those of you that do not and you want something different, do a little twist in your yogi squat. Put your left hand down towards the mat, right hand up and reach. And you can bring it to the other side. And for those yogis doing crow, hands plant firmly, toes come together. Your knees can be right on your triceps, tucked into your armpits, leaning up against those arms. You'll just play with it. Lift one toe, lift two toes, and balance. Not my favorite pose. Okay, for those of you doing crow, we'll wait for you, but we'll meet you back on our booty. At this point, we're going to come down to our backs, work a little core, and then we are getting to Savasana, I promise. From our seated position, have your knees bent. You can also put your knees flat. We're going to curve our way down. You should feel that belly tuck in. And if we take it slow and controlled, you really feel that work. And when you get to the bottom, stretch yourself out. Nice and long. Feel those abs lengthen. And on an exhale, we'll pull our knees in. Give yourself a little rock. We made it to the ground. Now, I'm not going to let you off too easy yet. Our next will be yogi bicycles. So bring your hands behind your head, but do not tug on your head. Use your core to do any lifting. Your knees will come at a 90-degree angle, like an upside down tabletop. And we will slowly and controlled stretch our right leg. Bring your right elbow to your left knee. Slow and controlled. We do the opposite. Do 10 of these. Feel free to stop at any time if these do not serve you today. Really feel that one today. Okay. When you're complete, bring your knees into your chest again and stretch it all out. For our next move, we're going to come into a bridge pose. So those of you that are familiar can come right into it. Bring your feet shoulders width apart, really close to your booty so you can almost graze them with your fingertips reaching long. On an inhale, we'll push into those feet, lift our hips, and you can even bind your arms, tuck those shoulders underneath. Focus on lengthening your front body. And inhale big, don't lose your breath. Exhale, release. For those of you interested in wheel, come up to it for your last breath. And on an exhale, slowly lower it down. Bring your knees in, or you can windshield wiper those legs. On an inhale, I'm going to have you come up to seated. We are actually going to do one more down dog, but it's just to get into one of our poses. Go ahead and pop over to a tabletop, tuck your toes, and up to down dog. So for this, we're going to come into pigeon pose. If you prefer it on your back, stay there. You can do a figure 4. But for those coming from down dog, lift your right leg to the sky. And pull your knee towards your right wrist. Your leg can be as parallel to the front of the mat as you can get it. If it doesn't make it there, do not be concerned. Mine is never parallel. On an inhale, we lift, straighten that back. And on an exhale, we fold. Stay here for 5 breaths. Come back to your breath. It is so important in this pose. Breathe deeply into that right hip. Send all the oxygen in there. And on your exhales, release. If you need to sigh it out to get that release, do it. Make some noise. Make sure your tongue isn't glued to the roof of your mouth. Your jaw is loose, not clenched. A few more breaths here. And inhale, walk your arms back. And tuck your left toe, pop your knee up, and stretch that right leg up to the sky. Bring it back down. Now, on your inhale, we'll lift our left leg, pull it through, pigeon pose. Get your set up right, make sure your back leg is straight. Your leg is parallel to the front of the mat, as parallel as you can get it. On an inhale, lift, and on an exhale, fold. Breathe into that left hip. Give it all the power of the oxygen you're taking in. And on an exhale, release. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Your jaw is relaxed. And with your breath. On an inhale, rise up and pop your right knee, lift your leg to the sky, downward facing dog. Okay, come back to your mat, knees to the ground. Now come back to our backs, flat on the mat. And for this one, we'll bring our right leg into the chest. Tight, tight, tight. Pull that knee towards your right shoulder. And on an exhale, guide it across your body with your left hand. Your right hand will go parallel to your shoulder and gaze will drift towards that right hand. For those of you that this can be a challenge for, you have full opportunity and permission to use any props, add any support, or even come a little out of it a bit. Just a gentle twist that allows gravity to really pull us down. Get that stretch. For those needing a deeper twist, feel free to assist with that left hand. Pull your hip back, pull the knee down. That gaze off to the right if it's comfortable. On an inhale, twist that leg back up. And bring your legs to meet, shake it out a little. Now the opposite side, bring your left knee in, tight, 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 pull it towards your shoulder. Give it a little jiggle if it's feeling a little locked up. And on your exhale, we'll gently guide it off to the right side of our body. Stack those hips And reach our left arm over, gaze toward that left hand. Again, opportunity to loosen up this shape a little bit or even go deeper. We have puppy yoga today. On our next inhale, bring that knee back up. Pull both knees into your chest. Pull them in nice and tight, but keep the tailbone down. We're going to come into a happy baby. Reach your hands between your knees and grab the arches of those feet. This is a gentle push-pull. So you're pushing with your feet up to the sky. You're gently tugging downward. It's not hard, just gentle, almost like just gravity is pulling you down. Keep your tailbone firmly to the mat and play around with this happy baby a little. Should feel this deeply in the hips. And play with it. See what it feels like just to rock side to side. Maybe straighten one leg at a time. Maybe straighten both legs. See how that feels. Either way, you've got a few minutes to play here, a few breaths to play. On our next inhale, we'll come into our inversion. Easiest one to get to here is waterfall. For those of you with issues with your back, or if this is uncomfortable in your lower spine, you can give yourself a little diamond-shaped kickstand for your hip bones. Feet should reach straight up to the sky. You can point and flex, point and flex. For those of you looking for a more advanced practice today, you can come into shoulder stand with me. For that, lift your hips to the sky, straight, straight, straight legs. Your shoulders make a little shelf, and your hands grab your hips. I also enjoy stretching one leg back. Ooh, feel that stretch in my hammy. Up to the sky, and opposite leg. And for one last little fun with abs, I'm going to come back to plow. Both legs straight back until my toes touch the ground. And then I'm using my core to rise back up straight. Shoulder stand. You can always come in and out of any inversion of your choice, and happy baby is a perfectly good inversion. You could stay just playfully in that. Remind you to stay with your breath, focus on that, and come back to your intention. We're winding down our practice now. Is that theme, is that statement, is that intention really sinking in with you today? If not, that's okay. We don't get it right every day. Then exhale, I invite you to just bring it down. If you need a little pull inwards, a little twist, any movements that your body is calling to you, go ahead and take them. Otherwise, we will come to Savasana. Stretch your arms out on your mat, your legs out long, feet, hands pointed outwards, upwards. Come to your breath. I'm going to take one vocal exhale together. I want you to inhale deep. Pause at the top and hold it. See if you can sip in just a little bit more air. And open mouth, sigh, exhale. Savasana. This is the part of your practice that really allows all the work you've done today to sink in, take its effect. I invite you all to bring a little deepness to your breath, a little movement to your fingers and toes. Slow, gentle movements, like bringing your fingertips across each other. Just feel it. Circle your wrists, circle your ankles. And when you're ready, come to your right side or any side that's comfortable for you in a fetal position and just pause. Keep those eyes closed. This is a position of renewal, a pose that reminds us we can always start again. Gently push yourself up to a seated position, cross-legged on your mat. Keep your eyes closed or your gaze gently downward. And take 3 more breaths together. I invite you to circle sweep your arms up on an inhale. On an exhale to heart center. One more big breath in. And exhale to heart center. One more. And hands to heart center. Gently close your eyes. Gaze down towards your fingertips. Your hands gently pressed into your heart center, to your sternum. The light in me honors, respects, and sees the light in each and every one of you. Together we bow and say Namaste.